Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune in to the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We're back with another one. I'm absolutely buzzing. As you can see, I've got Nat joining me tonight. It's been a while since we've spoken. A lot has changed, I think, since the last time we spoke, to be fair, Nat. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me on the show. I hope you're doing well this evening, mate.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just I was saying to you, want to keep him warm, so I've got a jumper and a dressing gown.
To be fair, I've got my jacket on.
Yeah.
Some will be streaming in gloves and hats. It's all good. It's that time of year. We're all in a crisis. We move a bit. But yeah, thank you for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure to chat to you. And like I say, this weekend, I mean, we've got to start with the City game, of course. I didn't do a post-game show, and I want to apologise for that. I was just unable to do it this weekend. It wasn't because we lost. I would happily have come on and spoken about it, but we're doing it now. But yeah, I mean, firstly, going into that game, I know I did do a cheeky little 2-1 predictions for United, but I'll never predict against my team. That's just how I am, and I'm stupid in that way, but I just won't. But deep down, like, is that kind of what you were expecting? Probably not to that magnitude, but like, how did you feel going into that game?
I thought we'd score goals, which we did. I knew we wouldn't keep a clean sheet, but I didn't think it would be as bad as what it was. But I thought, well, I didn't think we'd win. I did think we'd win. You've always got to, like you say, back your team, feel confident, but I don't know. I just agree with the manager. They were just scared, and
terrified.
Yeah, and I just didn't expect them to be as scared as that. But because I felt like if you just looked at the way Newcastle went against them, the way Palace went against them, obviously they were going to come out better than that. They wouldn't have let those kind of results happen. But those two teams went out with belief, and I just think it shows where we're at. In a way that, even though we have got belief from, the Liverpool, the Arsenal, the little run, we haven't, it can just be destroyed like that. You get what I mean? It's still fragile where we're at in terms of our team, and I don't think it's going to derail us. I don't think people should think, oh, well, that's it. We're not going to do this. We can still finish top 4. We can finish... look at Liverpool, they're not doing that well. I know Arsenal are going well. I know, Spurs are sort of not going as well at the minute. But for me, I think other than City winning the league, I think anything's possible for any other team. And
I agree with you, yeah.
I don't think we should just say, oh, that's it, Man United, they're finished. No, it's that's the best team. Someone's saying their best team in Europe. Yeah, probably, probably will beat Madrid now, and I know we're going to talk about him, Haaland, but he's the one who's changed it for them. And I just think United have got to now back Ten Hag in January and in the summer, not just sort of just wait till summer and we'll be all right. No, that kind of policy hasn't really worked. Get some players out and get players in, and keep building, keep going towards it. I saw people criticising Ten Hag, should have done this, should have done that. Maybe, yeah, but, it is what it is. We're all learning. He's learning, we're learning. And I just think our mentality's got to be positive. Their mentality, they're sort of, people are saying best team in Europe because they've built it over years and years and years. Our mentality is still that fragile, unsure, kind of.
We're still a work in progress, aren't we? I think a lot of people think, we made a few signings and that's it, we're done now. I think it was a reality check for us at the weekend. Yes, we've made progress, you'd say, with the signings we've made. Like Martinez coming have been brilliant, but we're not a finished article. City, now getting Haaland, you say they are the finished article. That's what they've needed for a while. They've needed that goal scorer. They've now got him, the best in the world, no doubt about it. And De Bruyne behind him, one of the best in the world as well. They're always going to hurt teams. And I think it was Brush who said it on my stream last week when we were doing a preview, me and Zio, and he said he's not going into this game expecting a win or anything like that, but he was treating it as a marker as to where we're at. And I do think that's where we're at. We are miles off City at the moment. Most teams are miles off City at the moment because, like you say, they've built it over many years and that's where they are now. But with us, we're not a finished article. We scored 3 goals, which I'm quite gobsmacked to say we did that, which made it a bit more respectable. But let's be honest, like all across the park, they were way better than us. The midfield for us was non-existent. And yes, Ten Hag can take criticism, but I do think a lot of it was down to the fact that our players were terrified. And you have to give respect to City, like I say, one of the best teams in the world. So a lot of people say obviously in Europe, but I genuinely think one of the best in the world, especially with Haaland and De Bruyne in the form that they're in at the moment. And obviously the likes of Foden and Grealish turning up for the first time probably in a City shirt, because he hadn't really played for City very well, but for against us, I thought he looked sharp the other day. And I just feel like it's one of them. We've come up against a very, very good team. You have to hold your hands that we weren't good enough, and they're always going to punish us. We said that if they started quickly and we didn't, we were going to get punished. And unfortunately, we did. But I'm not writing off the season because of that result. No. If anything, that should spur us on. That's the top. Like we should be aiming to reach that kind of level. And I think you have to give credit. Like half time, we could have come out the second half and down tools and whatnot. We went and we won the second half, and it shows a little bit of resilience on our behalf. Or whatever Ten Hag said to them at half time, we didn't bottle it in the second half. We came out. We got battered. We have to be honest about that. But I think we have to try and take as many positives as we can. Obviously, Anthony scoring his goal as well. What a goal that was. We have to try and take the positives, because it's easy to use that and then we could spiral out of control and go downhill from there and let that define us. But I don't think we will, like you say. But it is important that we bounce back tomorrow in this game, obviously in the Europa League against Ammonia Nicosia. I apologise if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, I think this is the perfect kind of game for us to follow that. If we can try and get a few goals, boost our confidence again. Because by far, this is not a game to write off the season. I think you've said it already. Teams in and around us. Liverpool aren't exactly looking amazing this season. Arsenal have proven we can beat them. They can drop points even though they're looking strong at the moment. Spurs are doing Spursy things again. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not writing us off for top 4 or anything like that. And I do think that we've made progress since Ten Hag has come in. But we always said it's going to take time. For those people who thought, we signed Marcel, we signed Ericsson, we're going to batter City, like that's just delusional. That was never going to happen, was it? But it doesn't mean that we can't do that eventually. I think it just is highlighting where we're at. And like I say, a bit of a reality check for us, really. We have to take the positives out of it. We can't let it define us. And hopefully, like I say, we bounce back. So we're in the Europa League tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, how would you, if you're Ten Hag looking at that, would you stick the same players out to try kind of redeem themselves? We have got obviously a lot of games coming up. Would you rotate it a little bit, or is it a bit of a half and half from your perspective now?
Yeah, it's a bit of a half and half. I mean, I know I've seen someone there saying, Casemiro, and I think he's got, seen reports saying he's going to start for Everton. So if he's going to start for Everton, and maybe play Scotty this one, Casemiro starts for Everton, rest Eriksen and Bruno. I mean, I don't know how many changes he's thinking to make, but, I'd like to see Ronaldo in for this one. I think that's sort of what he is going to do. Whether it's right, wrong, I don't care anymore. I think Ronaldo will rest this one, but then I think we'll see Tony Marshall for Everton if he's fit, Anthony, probably, I don't know about him. I think I would.
He's Ten Hag's man, isn't he?
Playing for both, young, up and coming. I mean, that goal, he was pretty anonymous, but then he came up with that goal, and that's sort of, I feel like mentality, if anything, because I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to say this. People might be like, yeah, what you talk about, but it's like he's got it because his head's not down. He went with that. He picked up that ball and put it in the top corner, and then City went and scored more, but then Martial came on. But, for me, I feel like you're 4-0 down, you can pick up that ball and put it like that. Yeah, it didn't impact the game. Yeah, it meant nothing. But it just shows for me.
We were playing for pride, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and he's got it. And it sounds strange, isn't it? That's what we're celebrating. Oh, there's a guy playing for pride. But that's how low I think we are. We do need to be happy that, people aren't sort of, they have that kind of passion still within them, It's not drained out of them. He still has it. He can still do it, even though he's come into a team that probably doesn't have a lot of passion. There wasn't a lot of passion, but he's one guy that's got it. And, I just feel like if that's the one positive, then we should celebrate it. So
you've got to try and pick what we can out of it. And it's hard when you concede 6 goals like that against your rival. Yeah. Of course, it's hard to. But you've got to, otherwise, like I say, it can spiral and go downwards. Like, we can't turn on the manager. I've seen some people doing that already, and I don't get it. First one, say hello to Josh. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing good, Josh. Question, how does Casemiro get a start? I think he will tomorrow, to be honest now. I personally would give him a start. I know a lot of people saying Everton, but I'd give him a start tomorrow. Why can't he play both games? I don't imagine. Our midfield was non-existent against City. Absolutely non-existent. Ronaldo wants an interesting one because Ronaldo, I've seen videos of him training today. He's been smiling. He did a little nutmeg on Martinez, I saw, and he did like a little celebration after it. I think that with Ronaldo, people saying he's unhappy and that because obviously a lot of people are looking at him not playing and stuff, and of course he's not going to be happy. But Martial comes on and scores 2 goals. You think he probably gets a nod tomorrow? Probably, unless what could happen is Martial figuring off from the left, and then Ronaldo starting up top. That could be an option for us, couldn't it? And also, I'll ask for your lineups in a minute and get in the chat as well and let me know what your lineups would be for tomorrow's game as well. Would you rotate it? What would you do if you were Ten Hag in charge of that one? But you've already mentioned it there. I mean, we've got to talk about it. Haaland, De Bruyne. I mean, players like that, it's just ridiculous to have that kind of calibre of player. I mean, he's an absolute machine, Haaland. He scored, is it 3 hat-tricks on their bounce now?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, how many goals, genuinely, do you think he's going to get this season? And in the chat, get involved as well. What is your prediction? How many goals is he going to get in the league this season? He's definitely going to get the golden boot. I think that's already there, isn't it?
He's going to break the record, isn't it? I don't know what fully is the record. I think Salah's got it from a couple of years ago, but I think he's going to break the record, maybe even by 10. I don't know, but like that's the way he's going. He's going like for a 40. I think I read something like 40 goal season or something like that. But you know, he's only going to boost his confidence, get more, and it's like you only need to give him one chance in a way. You know, I feel like people were sort of laughing at him at the start, this and that, but he's always been a class player. I just look at it and think, you know, Man United had a chance. Back.
Yeah, I don't like to think about that.
yeah. What could have been? I just think he's a class player. And I know people are saying, oh, well, that makes the Premier League look rubbish. Not for me. I just think the guy is
special. He's just special.
Yeah, he was tearing it up at Dortmund. This is now with a better side, with better players around him. You know, you're talking about De Bruyne, this and that. You know, Foden. You know, these guys, Grealish, coming in a bit off form, but he's got time to come in, and he knows that, you know, he's got the support, and he'll come in, and then he can put in a good performance. You know what I mean? Like, whereas I feel like at United, you've got to instantly perform, whereas people can come in, settle, do this, have a season, and then you'll see the best out of them. You know what I mean? And
it is a team game. I want to add on that as well. Haaland is special, of course, but a lot of it's down to obviously the supply that he gets from the likes of De Bruyne, like I say, one of the best in the world at that. Of course, I get that. And what I find mad is he barely touches the ball in the build-up. If you're watching, he's walking around. They don't involve him in the build-up at all, really. Like George said in the chat, just like, you know, he gets a chance in the box and it's a goal. Like, it's a goal.
He's that kind of striker, isn't he? He's that kind of striker. He's not a guy who's going to run back, do this, do that, the other. He's a goal scorer. He's a poacher. That's, you know, he's like a probably. I mean, I know it's different in a way, but like Ryan van Persie, Ruud van Nistelrooy, those kind of strikers, you didn't see them bloody playing 1-2 up in the middle of the park. It's not about that. Yeah, he's going to be. But then the way that he can run onto the ball as well, so you know you can play these kind of things. Got pace. He's a machine, and you know he's best striker.
It's a good point to be fair. If he gets injured, like, do you think that dramatically affects it? I mean, his injury record isn't bad, is it? I don't think.
No.
But if he was to get injured for City, like, he is so fundamental to them at the moment, isn't he? But City are a class team, of course, but he has this season. He's transformed and took it to the next level, definitely. So if he's not there, or if De Bruyne gets injured, like, it'd be interesting to see how they react to that. But I saw a tweet the other day.
They'll still win the league no matter if he gets injured. I think he's the difference now for the Champions League, and obviously that's why they've brought him in. So potentially, if he gets injured and it's like what semi-final of the Champions League, they're playing against this and that, it might impact them. But you know that's when they want him to turn up. Games against United, hat-tricks, whatever, they're not bothered. You know what I mean? They're not bothered. They're bothered.
They need the Champions League.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet the other day, and it said, like the kids nowadays. Back like us, obviously, we're now talking about the likes of Ronaldo and Messi. The fact we're so lucky to be in a generation of those two players. The next generation, the kids are going to be talking about Mbappe and Haaland. They're going to be the next two. You know what I mean? The special generation. And it's exciting to see really where they go. In terms of Haaland, I saw tweets today. Apparently, he's going to be going to Real Madrid after City. A lot of people are predicting it as early as 2024. I don't think, personally, he'll be at City for a long time. I'll be honest. I don't think. I think he's going to want to experience La Liga as well. But whilst he's in the Premier League, I mean, you've just got to say what a player he is and City are very, very lucky to have him. I don't even want to contemplate the thoughts that he wasn't a big enough name for us to sign him when we wanted him, because that just hurts. But the truth of it is they've signed a quality player, a player that they desperately needed, and he has taken them to the next level. And it was always going to be a tough test for us, and we had to be at our best, and quite simply we weren't. And we knew that if you're not going to be at your best against the likes of City, you will get punished, and that's exactly what happened. It could have been more than 6. We have to be realistic about that. It could have been way more than 6, and it flatters us to have 3 goals on our side as well. But it does show that we can score goals. We can still score goals, even when you're down like that. It shows we've still got the ability to do that. And I think Martial coming on and having that impression as well. Fair play to him after the injury. Josh said I'm on the vodka and coke. Honestly, after what happened at the weekend with United getting battered, I could easily be on the vodka and coke, but no, I'm not. I'm being good. Just the coke today. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't even as depressed afterwards as I probably should have been. I think it's kind of because I respect the fact that, look, their quality, we weren't good enough. I don't know what you expect to happen. If we don't turn up, that's always going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And it's frustrating, but I'm not writing the manager off early. I'm not jumping on players' backs and stuff like that, because who's that going to help? It's not going to help anything. We know that we're still building our ideal squad. Ten Hag's still building his team, isn't he? There's still certain players that they want to get out of there. Mentality is a big thing as well that we've questioned many, many times. So, yeah, I'm not too down about it, because I don't think you can be at this stage in the season. I think you've got to keep your head up, and the players have to be the same as well and keep going. And like I say, I think tomorrow's game is an important one. There's no easy game in the Premier League, so Everton at the weekend is going to be a tough test again. But there's no reason why we can't go and beat them. I know it's controversial, but I honestly think that Dalot yellow card changed. You know that early? Oh, I feared the worst. The second Dalot got booked early, I'll be honest. I thought, this is, Grealish fancied it ever since that point. He was licking his lips, wasn't he? He thought, I can get him sent off here. Yeah, I agree. That did obviously change it a little bit. It was a stupid yellow card to get early on. I agree with that. And I also put a little lineup as well. I want to go through. So there we go. So Show, this is his prediction for tomorrow. So he has made a few changes. So the Bradford in goal, Dalot, Lindelof, obviously Varane, I believe, will be injured. So Lindelof, Martinez, Luke Shaw, Casemiro and Fred, Bruno, Anthony, Ronaldo obviously in the middle, and Garnacho. I mean, would you be happy with that lineup, Nat?
Yeah, I'd happily see Garnacho play, but I feel like you say, isn't it? Varane probably is out injured, so I can see Lindelof. I can definitely see that back line. I want to see Shaw playing. I think he had a decent time with England, and did well. So I'd like to see him get his minutes and stuff, and I think he did all right the other day. So yeah, I feel like Shaw is one of them guys who is, he can be hit and miss, but when he is on form, he is a really good player. So I feel like,
and to be fair, some of his interviews, I've liked what he said. Like when Malacia took his place, I saw an interview with Luke Shaw. I think it was during the week at England and stuff, and he said that basically, like, he understood what he wasn't at his best at the start of the season, and he totally understood why he'd been dropped. And that's what you want to hear, and you want to see him get a bit between his teeth, because we said it when Tellers came in, competition was really good for Luke Shaw. Yeah. And I'm hoping that Luke Shaw, because he's one of the best when he's. I know a lot of people don't like to admit it because for some reason he's a bit of a scapegoat, Luke Shaw. But when he is at his best, he is one of the best. He's one of the best, and so a lot of people don't like to admit that, but he is, and he hasn't been at his best for a while, and I agree with that. Malacia fully deserves his place, but we keep saying, don't we? Like, we've got a big squad, a lot of egos that we need to try and keep happy. Ten Hag has got to manage that, and these are the kind of games where he can give these players, because it's not like it's a game that isn't important. Of course, we want to win the Europa League. Do you know what I mean? But it's a game where you can afford to rotate, and hopefully he does rotate a little bit in this game. Not too much, though.
Yeah, we've already lost, really. If we look back at it, we've already lost, so we do need a win. I mean, Nicosia or what, no disrespect to them, but we should be wiping the floor with them, and anyone who did play in that derby should be going out to show, listen, I'm thinking, but then the ones that didn't and are going to get their time, they should be saying, this is why you should select me. And that's the mentality that we've not had. Like you're saying, Shaw isn't sulking. He's saying, I did deserve to get dropped. And, now it's his time to show why he deserves probably to have his place back. Because Malacia hasn't had that's sort of, I know a lot of people are saying, this and that about why Casemiro. But if you look at it really, I agree with Ten Hag. Scotty has played really well. And now, obviously, like you say, the midfield was anonymous against City. They all look scared. So Casemiro will get his chance. And I feel that's where we need to be at. We shouldn't just be rushing to put, obviously, Casemiro, Scotty, you look at it on paper, one's better than the other. But if one player is playing well, you can't just drop them. And I feel like that's sort of, you've got to earn your place. And I feel like that's what he's sort of trying to instill in people, even in our fans. Ronaldo, this one should be playing. No one should have anything. You should earn it always, no matter the level. And I feel like that's what they got at City. You have to earn it. You have to show it.
I think a lot of people are a bit baffled because Anthony obviously was signing straight in. But Anthony is Ten Hag's man. Casemiro, we're still questioning, is he even a Ten Hag signing? There's no doubt he improves us in terms of the midfield, but is he really the kind of midfield that he was looking for? Because it struck a lot of us like it was a panic buy. And I think the more that he doesn't start, and you are right, it should be based on form, and McTominay has earned his spot 100%. But the more that he isn't playing, it does make you question, is he actually a Ten Hag signing? And I think time will tell on that one, won't it?
Yeah, but we know who he wanted, didn't we? It didn't happen. So obviously this is whether, plan B or whatever, or lastminute.com. Yeah, of course it was, But the thing is, though, like you say, he's a class player. So, of course, he likes him, he wants him. We'd all rather him than the names that were bandied about. So, people just need to just take time and the time will come. It's coming soon. I feel like there will be ins and outs. I know it's, people, there will be ins and outs, no matter how much, different probably head up people are saying no, there should be ins and outs, in my opinion, because we need to keep it fresh. We need to, you can't just sit still. Other teams around us will be adding, will be changing. So we need to be doing that as well. Can't just be, let's wait till summer. No, you need to keep everyone on their toes, knowing that people are coming in, knowing that we're freshening up. Like you say, it's a rebuilding thing. So why not, be active always?
Yeah. I agree. And Donny, it's an interesting point. I read today that he's surplus to requirements according to Sky, the report I saw earlier. What's your thought? Because everyone was like gunning for Ollie's head when Donny wasn't playing week in, week out. Everyone was gunning for him. He went on low and everyone was scratching their head thinking, what's going on here? Obviously, we hyped up that signing a lot with Donny. He played well for Ajax and whatnot. I hate to say it, but it's not a coincidence that even under a manager that obviously highly rated him, I know he's had his injuries and stuff as well, of course, that's unfortunate on his behalf, but do you think it's at a point now where it's showing that Donny, unfortunately, he just isn't cutting it, he isn't quite good enough to make it in the Premier League for whatever reason? Like, is that how you feel regarding that signing? Because I'm gutted, because we were all rooting for him, all of the fan base. Like, it was like a meme at the time, wasn't it? Whenever Donny didn't play, like, everyone was saying free Donny and whatnot. Like, do you know what I mean? So we were all rooting for him. But the fact that a manager who highly rated him at Ajax has come in as well and still isn't playing him, and now these reports are coming out as well, like, it is concerning for him, is it? And in terms of his future at United.
Yeah, I think it's over, isn't it? And not in a horrible way, but it's some players don't make it in the Premier League. Some players can't do it. I always remember Diego. This is me showing my age, everyone. But Diego Forlan came in, couldn't really do it for United. Veron, these class players, they were doing it elsewhere, came in and didn't work out. And it is what it is.
Great minds think alike. Look at that.
Yeah. Great minds. But listen, that's what it is. And I'm sure he'll probably go to somewhere else. Even, he might even go Spain and he might tear it up. Class. I'd be happy for him if he does. He might go Italy and tear it up. It's just, there's been 3 managers here. Like you say, the guy who made him into this player that we wanted to buy, isn't even picking him in the Premier League. So, I think potentially when he couldn't even do it at Everton, that was sort of the writing on the wall for me.
Yeah. I mean, I know he was in a poor Everton team and you have to take off to the relegation battle. And like I say, injuries have really cost him as well. But quite frankly, like, we've had plenty of players in the past like that who we've kind of clung on for, hoping that they can stay fit. And then you see these injury issues and then they end up staying at the club for ages. And it's just, and we obviously want to come out to that strategy. We want players who are fit, who are fresh, and ready, who are good enough. And with Donny, I don't know, I just question, is he actually what he was made out to be? Do you know what I mean? And I hate saying that because, like I said, we were rooting for him, but just doesn't work out. Najib, thank you so much for that. He said, hi, Sophie, love the show from Nigeria. How can Eriksen mark Haaland? That is criminal. Why not Varane and McTominay? So, am I right in thinking Varane was off the pitch at that point? So I remember thinking, is he only marking him because Varane's off the pitch? But even so, why would you put Eriksen of all people on him? Like, that didn't make sense to me. I agree with that. But I do think Varane was off injured at that point, if I remember rightly. But it is what it's happened now. Like I say, we have to move on. We have to lift our heads and we have to get on to the next one, don't we? It is what it is. Thoughts on United fans saying that some of the under-21 should play in Europa? I do think that's our chance to rotate. I mean, obviously, put Garnacho in his lineup earlier. I do think we should rotate. I don't think we should rotate too much because I do think we need to try and build a bit of confidence and a bit of consistency, which is why I'd like to see the likes of Casemiro put in. So not necessarily youth, but players who haven't really featured a lot yet. I would like to see, and obviously if Varane's injured, you'd probably expect someone like Lindelof to come in as well. And Lindelof is a player. What's your thoughts on Lindelof, Nat? Because I know a lot of the fan base are mixed on him. Sometimes he's been absolutely quality, hasn't he? And other times he's just been a bit lightweight, I'd say. I think European football suits him a lot more than the Prem. From what I've seen of him, he's definitely better in European games, isn't he? Or European games.
Yeah, because I feel like they're not that kind of big, strong, stick it on you, kind of not hoof it, but that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Direct.
Yeah.
I feel like
he
can position himself, technical, intercept. I just want to go back to like one quick point. I think we will see young players, but I think we'll see them probably brought in, or like second half kind of thing. So I do think that young players will definitely get their chance. But yeah, I remember when Victor he was signed, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's rubbish." But obviously he's captain of Sweden. He's not a rubbish player. I just think like what you say, some leagues maybe benefit him better, but I do think he can do it in the Premier League. Obviously, like I was saying, this is chances now to earn it. If Varane's out for a bit, whether it's a couple of weeks, I don't know, but it's his chance to earn it. It's his chance to show. It's his chance to prove and to be playing, week in, week out. Then when Varane gets back, he might not get back in, and this is what I want to see. This is how you build a top mentality, because, yes, Martinez and Varane, they're probably our two best centre-backs. But if Lindelof does well, performs, shows it, he should keep his place. And that's what...
Should always
about competition, And I just think that now Lindelof has his chance if he does play, and he might then earn it for Everton and keep in, and good. That's what we want to see.
Yeah. Big up to Saeed. Make sure you go and subscribe to Saeed. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are doing well. We'll have to get you on soon as well. I'm up in the content, so I'd love to get you on as a feature at some point. But yeah, make sure you go and subscribe to Saeed TV. I'm sure you all know about Saeed anyway. But yeah, make sure you go and sub to him. But yeah, I think Lindelof will play. George said here is a player a bit like Donny who hasn't got any true strengths. He said even the likes of Maguire is physical and good in the air. I do think he's technical, Lindelof. He likes to get the ball down, he likes to try and play. But physically is where he's come unstuck. And if you're playing in the Premier League, obviously that's kind of a major element that you need at the back, isn't it? And that's kind of what's let him down, really. But I think he'll play tomorrow. I do think he'll play tomorrow. How long is Maguire actually out for? Because I think that's a question I'd like to ask. I fully expected Varane to injured off it. Maguire walks straight back in. That seems the way that it has been for him at United so far, doesn't it? Varane, obviously, and Martinez on form deserve to be starting over him. But I think if Varane's injured, I think Maguire's fit. He kind of walks back in, which is a bit of a crap situation if you're Lindelof, because, like you say, you want to try and take your chances, and it shouldn't be that way, but that's the way that it has been with Maguire. And I hope that Lindelof can retain his place and stay there, but we'll see what happens. I just want to flip to the women's very quickly, because obviously we talk about a negative weekend for the men, and unfortunately it was the same for the women, wasn't it, against Villa at the weekend in the Conti Cup. I'll be honest, I didn't see it in that. I'm not subscribed to MU TV. I'm not a member or anything this season, so I didn't see it. I was trying to get a stream. You know how hard it is to get a stream. If it's not an FA player, it's so hard to get it, isn't it? But I'm guessing you have a bit more insight. I mean, I know it was a rotated team. How would you summarise it? And then what's your thoughts on the women's team this season in general? Because I know a few bright spots. Obviously, Laetitia started the season really well and whatnot. There's plenty of positives, isn't there?
Yeah, there's positives, and I feel like I feel like even in respect to the men's, in that it's open, the league's open for us. This was a cup game, Continental Cup, so it's sort of like a league, like it's sort of like the Europa League where you have a group and then you have knockouts instead of like traditional League Cup where it's just straight knockout. So we did draw it when Man United, Nikita Paris actually started the first game, got our first goal. It was a great goal. We were sort of dominating, and then we sort of, I wouldn't say took the foot, but we sort of, Villa came out on it, in the second half, and we just weren't at the same level. Whether it's because, we made 9 changes, Alessia Russo wasn't there. They were still all getting together. That front three was never played together before. And these, because it was Leon, Paris, and Thomas. Thomas last year was a lot out on the right a lot. This first time in a while that she's played down the middle. Leon was interchanging in and out. There was little times where they should have got, got the results. Tooney went through. Tooney came on, Ella Toon, and went 1-on-1, and then basically hit it straight at the keeper, in my opinion. I know people saying it was a great save, but to be honest, I think she should have scored. And then there was a chance, because at the end of the games, it goes to penalties. I know it's a bit strange, but you get an extra point for it. So we went up on the penalties. Sophie Bagley made 3 saves. We were ahead. Ella Toon stepped up. And I mean, I don't know what you think of this, Soph. I'll put it back to you or anyone else. The Lionesses have done so well, and it's just been football. They went all the way to the final. Then literally less than 2 weeks later, they came back. And now it's like everyone's expecting them. Everyone's looking at them. Everyone knows Ella Toon, Alessia Russo, Mary Earps. And people are looking at them thinking, you're going to win it for us. And I feel like, it's a lot of pressure. And I feel like not just ours, but, other than Rachel Daly, I don't think any of them are really. Fran Kirby's has scored but not looked great. Millie Bright's not looked great. Leah Williamson's now out injured. I feel like everyone's looking at the girls who if you've got a Lioness in your team and you're going to win because you've got Ella Toon, you've got Alessia Russo. And I just feel like there's a bit of a hangover to not doing as well as how they did in the Euros, or as well as how they did.
I think it's got the flip of it as well. Obviously, from their point of view, there's a lot more pressure because, like you said, they're in the profile. Like, people know of them now, especially like Toon, scored in the final. Like, there's a lot more eyes on them. But also from the opposition point of view, you've obviously watched it as well. You know their game. You know what I mean? You do extra focus on those kind of players because they're the star players, if you like. And I think there's that kind of it as well, where there's a lot more focus of them on the pitch. Whereas last season, they probably got away with it a bit more freedom because teams didn't like man mark as much and focus on them. And I think that kind of nullifies, especially the likes of Toon, who obviously likes to pick up ball in the pockets. If teams are cutting out their pockets, that's her game gone. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what teams will do, because obviously they're professional footballers at the end of the day, and they know, like, they're not stupid, and they know her game and they know Russo's game and stuff. And I think that it just draws a lot more attention to it, doesn't it? After a major tournament like that and the high profile of it, I think that's just natural for opposition to look at players like Toon and like Russo. I still think, like, I love Toon to bits. Like, genuinely, like, when she scored in the final, it got me emotional because I felt like a proud mum, because she's a player that I've adored since she made it to United. Do you know what I mean? She almost reminds me of myself a little bit, and I think that's why I like her. And Russo, obviously, I absolutely adore as well. And from a fan's point of view, like you said, there's a lot, and it's a great thing because the exposure of women's football's gone up, and obviously everyone's been talking about women's football and whatnot. But from their point of view, like, it's something they're probably not used to, is that added pressure. And like in the men's game, obviously you're kind of inbred into it, because even at youth team level, they've got decent fans there and stuff like that. And it's amazing to see this season. Obviously, there's already records being broken in terms of attendances at games and stuff like that. That's what we want to see. From a player's point of view, it's going to take a bit for them to get used to it. I'm not saying they won't get used to it, because I'm sure they will. But it is a bit new to them, and I think it is going to take a while to get used to. And you have to think of the fitness side of things as well. I'm sure that tournament took a lot out of them. And that might be another reason why these players aren't really performing at the moment as well. They've got to try and get up to speed again. And like I said, I'm sure they will. But it is a lot more exposure. But we want that, don't we? Ultimately, that's what we want for the women's game. And like I said, I think it'll take them a bit to adjust, but I'm sure they will, because they are quality players. And yeah, Ella Toon's goal, and when she was through on goal, I thought, you know what, she's hitting it straight at the keeper, like you said at the weekend. Like, I didn't know the fact that she had the audacity to dink it over. Like, I lost it. Everyone knows I was in Egypt in the bar full of Germans, and I jumped up, everything went in the air. I was screaming because I wasn't expecting that kind of confidence from it. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought it's quality. And yeah, there's more exposure, which is what we want, but I do think it'll take a bit more time for them kind of international players to get used to the extra pressure, because there's more eyes on them ultimately now. But yeah, in terms of like I mentioned Leticia earlier, obviously a player who there's a lot of talk of, scored a few goals already, which is nice to see from the back as well. But she's obviously very young. Have you been like, I know obviously you've got eyes everywhere in that, and you know about the young players who are coming through and stuff like that. So you've seen a lot more of her than us people who've only seen it at the start of this season. But did you expect her to be as good as she has been at the start of this season?
I can tell you, no, I didn't think. I knew she was the one. She was going to be that star signing. You know, she's playing in the under 23s. I mean, she's just been given the captaincy of the under 23s England. But just watching her a couple of times when we played Brighton, you know, she's a class player, but she's playing out on the as fullback. And when she came into United and they started to play as centre back, I was like, oh right, okay. Is it just because, you know, we've not got this and that, and Millie's just coming back? But no, that's her preferred position. That's obviously, you know, the kids, they'd play anywhere, you know. And I'm sure she's even said it to me. I'll play anywhere where I'm told, kind of thing. I'm just happy to be playing. But you know, from people that I speak to, they're saying, you know, a preferred position is centre back. That's where she will be in the future. And just like, I know people are saying she's not this level yet, she's not that, and give her time. And yeah, give her time. She's 20 years old, you know. But when you look at it, she's like the most appearances in the WSL as a teenager. You don't just get that through nothing. And for me, I just feel like the way that she's sort of, I feel like having Millie Turner back is crucial as well, because I feel like she helps her along. She knows the sort of players, like, because Millie's played with Hannah before, played with Maya before, played with Anna before. It's just obviously Maya in, so I do feel like Millie does help her in that respect. But just watching her and the way she sprays the ball and the way she plays it out. I mean, just even when we beat West Ham, and I saw someone say about Garcia, but it's these long raking balls that she does, and it, you know, I don't want to have Arsenal fans on my case now, Arsenal women fans, because they're mad like the Arsenal men's fans, but it reminds me of Leah Williamson a bit, and I feel like that's where she can be at. She can be the future captain of Man United, the future captain of England. Like, I know that's me putting a lot of pressure on her. We were talking about pressure, but she's got it now, because I suppose she's one who's gone from Brighton, probably. You know, Brighton, they're doing a lot. They are investing money. But now you're at Man United. We're expecting Champions League. We're expecting these kind of trophies. We're expecting you to be playing class every single game. You know, people won't tolerate little misplaced passes maybe, whereas at Brighton you could sort of, you know, no one will talk about it. People are watching you now more, and you know, asking you to be called up. Why is she not called up? You know, asking Serena, you know, 2 or 3 journalists, why aren't you calling her up? You know, that's the kind of level and expectation that's on her now. I suppose she's going to have to deal with that. But
I would say, like, everything that's been thrown at her so far, she's took it in a stride, didn't she?
Yeah.
I think it's added pressure. Like, she seems to me like she's got that elite mentality. Like, she's one who's going to go up the levels, and it's kind of going to spur her on, because everything so far, like you say, the youngest player like to make like consecutive like appearances in the WSL at 20 years old, scoring on a debut the way that she did as well, like twice. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like everything that's been chucked at her so far, she's kind of took in a stride. And I think the Leanne Williamson comparison is actually a good shot from what I've seen of her. I think that's a good comparison to make, to be fair, because like George there, she's so composed on the ball, and that it's a really big compliment to her, and hopefully she can, like I say.
But that's where I want it to be, George. That's where I want it to be, and obviously now she's at United, I want it to be there even more. So listen, that's what I want.
So in terms of, am I right in thinking it's internationals now for the women?
Yeah. So England are playing the USA at Wembley on Friday, so it's on ITV. So if you know, definitely check that out. Yeah.
What else you got to do on a Friday night? Come on.
Yeah.
That'll be a big game to watch. That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
Are you going to it now?
I can't afford it, unfortunately. I'm just focusing on little games at a time. It's this time, innit? It's this time.
Watch with your house coat on, that you'll be all good.
Yeah, I'll be fine, man. Keep warm.
We'll be doing it, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, actually. Friday night football, watching the Lionesses play. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on the women's team, because obviously there's been a lot of attention on the fact Ten Hag's coming to the men's team, but actually the women have made a really good start to the season as well. This weekend, obviously, a little bit like the men. We don't dwell on it too much. But look, realistically, with the ladies team, where do you expect them to finish this season? Do you think Champions League is on the cards?
Yeah, 100%. I think both teams. I think for the women, third is Champions League. So top 3 get Champions League. Top 4 obviously for the men. But I think it just for the whole club, both teams need to get Champions League. You know, I feel like, you know, even if the men get it and the women don't, or the women get it and the men don't, I think both of them need to get it. We need to push forward. You know, we want more investment for both teams. Seeing people saying
that's progress, isn't it? On both sides.
We'll see progress for the club if both teams get that Champions League. I mean, like both teams to get a trophy as well, but don't know. For me, it's just because I was upset that they dropped them points, but I just thought I don't care. I don't care, but I thought it's a cup. I'm not even bothered. It's not the league.
Move on.
You know, we move. Yeah, the league next. The league is the most important for me, in my opinion. And this is just like a little, like we just sort of look at the Europa League, change it, give the players the minutes that haven't been playing, and you know, move forward to focus on the league.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward. I do enjoy watching the. I'll have to come to a game with you on a Sunday at some point now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not playing on a Sunday at the minute, so yeah, I'll have to come to a game. I'll message you next time I'm playing, and we'll arrange that. But yeah, I need to get to LSB and watch some of the games for sure. But back to the men's very quickly before we end off the stream. I've got, it's that time on the show. I ask you for your prediction for the game tomorrow, which is so hard to predict because personally, I'll admit it, I don't know anything about the opposition tomorrow. I'm not going to act like all I know is Cyprus. That's all I know. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on it. So it's really hard to make a prediction, and we don't know what kind of team's going to line up. But he has said he's going to line up a strong team. Obviously, our subs are also strong, so it still doesn't mean he's not going to rotate. So with that given, what's your hand on heart prediction for tomorrow's game? And obviously in the chat as well, get yours in.
Yeah, I think we should win. I think we should win. Curler's there saying 3-0. I think, yeah, we should. I mean, they're going to be up for it. What we say, this is their cup final. They're going to want it. They're going to be determined. And, they've got Man United coming to town. They're going to want to cause an upset. I think we've got to be on it. We've got to, be prepared to go out there. But I think, 4-1. If that happens, I'll be happy.
Conceding? Okay, 4-1.
I know, I'm sorry, but I feel like they're going to be up for it. They're going to be happy. But I feel like Man United, and I feel like if they score, it'll be like a last minute kind of thing. So that'll be like a consolation goal, and that can be. I'm not trying to downplay them. I'm sure they'll say, "Oh no, we're a better team. We're doing this." You
know what? They're in Europe at the end of the day. They're playing in a European competition, so you don't write anybody off, in my opinion. No. So we should win, but I don't think it'll be as easy as what people predict. It's not like Mickey Mouse team. Do you know what I mean? Like they're in a European competition, so you have to take them seriously in that sense. Mark said they're 2-1.
Can I just say the only reason I said 4 is because I feel like we need to make a statement. So, like you say, I feel like team, this will make a statement. I'm not saying this and that. I do think, like you said, they're not a Mickey Mouse.
It's 3 against City. It's got 3 against City. Come on.
So I feel like
we scored 3. And I read they've said the majority saying 4-0. 4-0. I think I'm going to go with a 3-0. I think I'm going to go saying what Curler said there. I'm hoping we get a clean sheet. Obviously, the change at the back with Varane not playing, that could impact it, which is why I know Nat obviously said we're going to concede as well. But I do think we should hopefully get over the line and get the win, which is the most important thing. But it would be nice to see some goals, wouldn't it? And of course, it's always nice to see a clean sheet. George said we're very low scoring at the minute. It's gone 2-0. Red Devils gone for 4-0 as well. But yeah, I'm just hoping that we can bounce back. And I think the biggest thing as well is just a positive performance. We were terrified at the weekend. I want to see more of a fearless performance. I want to see us out of the box quickly, getting at them. Because if we get out, we know that we can create goals. We've got talent going forwards, no matter what front three we start. I just want them to back themselves and give them a bit of confidence going into that game against Everton at the weekend. So yeah, and we've got a 5-1 prediction there. That would also be nice, wouldn't it? But guys, it's been an absolute great stream as always, Nat. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Please let people know where they can find you on socials as well, so I can give you a follow, mate.
Yeah, so on Twitter, Natalie_17. That's the Naughty Natty B on the Insta. I do streams pretty much everywhere on any channel. So I'm on Only One United Club. Definitely check that out. I'm gonna start maybe trying to do fan cams or after game reaction to the women. Yeah. So if you see me with a little microphone, just come and chat to me after. If you come
definitely, yeah, I'd love to see that. Make sure you go and follow that. Great content, obviously, a lot with the women's as well, which are like saying positive starts to the season. After the Lionesses won the Euros, so go ahead over there and check out some of that content. But thank you to everyone in the chat as well. This shows nothing about you guys tuning in and obviously dipping in with your thoughts as well, so we always appreciate that. If you are new, please hit the sub button on Ladies in Red, hit a like on the video, and if I have missed your comments, I apologise, just pop it underneath the video and I always double check there after. I'll be back live on Friday, and then on Sunday, obviously after the game, I'll be live as well, and just before it, I'll be doing an ECL stream about 12 o'clock, probably just before the United game. Obviously I know we're kicking off later, aren't we? 7 o'clock I believe, which I think is a bit mad on a Sunday. But I'm sure it's 7 o'clock. But anyway, I'll be before it doing an ECL FIFA 23 stream. I saw someone asking about FIFA 23 streams earlier. I'll be doing one. Just keep an eye on my tweets and I'll let you guys know. But until next time, look after yourselves, keep smiling, and we'll see you soon.